Okay, so if all you really wanted was to see a video of a cool Sims building and not listen to my stupid voice prattle on for however long, then the video is done for you. You can find this lot if you need it under Sage High School on the gallery. It's not listed here, but that is what it's called. Or under my name, which is Boyfrog Sims. It'll probably be pretty easy to find under my account as well. I really don't have that much uploaded, especially under lots. It is no custom content, so you shouldn't need that filter enabled. That's about it. You're free to use it for storytelling or for machinimas or whatever. Really just don't claim that you made it or imply that you made it. You know, send people back here if they ask. And credit would be awesome because I did put a ton of time into this, but it's not totally necessary. Whenever I'm trying to find buildings for a video I'm making, I always find it super stressful, literally just because, you know, I feel like I should be asking this person for permission, but sometimes it's really hard to find and contact people. You know, will they be mad? So I'm just making this with blanket permission that you can use this in your stories. Just don't claim it as yours. Because buildings like this, the like large ones that are super decorated, I know I never have time to make them. My sets for machinimas usually look like one room that are just like on the ground floor, nothing special. And anything where I need to show the outside architecture or have connecting rooms is really like mostly out of my scope. I never build them for a project. Even this one I only built for my machinima She, which I uploaded on Valentine's Day of this year, 2021. And even then, I didn't actually build this whole thing for the machinima. That's why there's no like time-lapse cool I'm a pro builder video for this, because it took me hours upon hours. This was like hours upon hours across multiple months. This took me like, I literally only finished in maybe May of this year. So that's why there's no recording, because I just don't have the space on my computer for that. I like to take my time with things. And by take my time, I mean months. That's why you're getting this long video of me going through every room, because I'm really proud of it and I love talking. So if you're interested, stick around. I'd appreciate it. Can't remember what I was talking about. Crap. Oh yeah, I didn't finish this whole building for the machinima. When I made machinima, I had one classroom, which is basically the classroom that you see duplicated without this, and I had the library, which is completely and utterly different from what this was, as well as the courtyard. The courtyard was the only thing that I had like finished when I filmed the machinima. The inspiration for this is I'm not sure how to phrase it. I guess Eastern style high schools, Asian style high schools. I was looking at reference pictures of like Japanese and Korean high schools for this, and I definitely was trying to make it look like something out of an anime, because that was what I wanted the She video. I really wanted that to look like it was out of an anime for Valentine's Day. So that is like the inspiration for it, but fused with Western style high schools, at least what I know here in Canada, because obviously I have a lot of experience. I've graduated, I have a lot of experience. I know what high schools look like. You have the outside here, which tons of windows, because that was one thing I got from looking at, I think specifically Japanese high schools, just a crap load of windows, especially on the front. Any place you see little windows is a bathroom. We've got these really nice pillars leading up. These windows are for stairwells. You got your big clock. I'll go over the roof right now just because it's not super exciting. It looks like there's technically access to the roof, but I didn't really intend for it to be a place for you to actually put your Sims. So if that's something you're going to want for your story, you're on your own. Most high schools I saw had like chain link fences and stuff, obviously to stop students from jumping off the roof. Couldn't find anything that I liked, so I was mostly just focusing on having it look like a normal roof, but there is technically roof access if you need it. As for packs, this uses seasons, pets, get to work, vampires, holidays, and that one guitar set that's like literally just has the guitar. Seasons is definitely not necessary. Seasons is literally like maybe 4 pieces of decor because I got seasons like 2 weeks ago after I finished all of this. So you definitely do not need seasons. I think get to work is one that's definitely necessary. I use a lot of get to work stuff as well as a lot of pets decor. You could probably get away with not using pets or vampires, although don't take my word on it. But seasons for sure you can get away without having it. And I think a lot of this, get to work is the only one I would really say that like you need, because the classrooms are going to be very empty if you don't have get to work. This lot is pretty heavy. Like it doesn't make my laptop run any harder, like at my but when you are playing in live mode, there's kind of a pause, for me at least. Whenever I go from pause to play, there's like a delay for whatever reason. I assume it's just because there's so much on the lot. And this could be entirely, I wouldn't be surprised if this was entirely because my laptop sucks. But just a warning out there, I could definitely work with it if I was filming. I have worked with delays like that on other lots people have made. So, I don't know. That's just something to be aware of. Here you have a sign. Obviously, it's for like a restaurant or something. It's from Get to Work, I believe. But it's in Simlish, so nobody can tell. You've got some nice hedges, just for fun. This is, by the way, on a lot in Willow Creek, I think the world name is. I'm not sure. But I really do like it because it has this like driveway up, which I didn't connect at all to the school. But I still like it. I think it makes the school look like rich and nice. It's a 50 by 50, I believe. Yes, it's a 50 by 50, which is massive, I'm aware. But I mean, if it's for storytelling purposes, nobody cares if you get rid of whatever house was here. I think this house was empty anyway. Over here on the right, you have the entrance to the school. Which I'll try and maneuver while staying on this floor so you get the nice view of everything. This little board, this is from Seasons and I literally just added it last minute. I just think it's so cute. And my school definitely didn't have a message board or whatever this is out front, but this one does. You've got this really nice long walkway up to the front door. These murals, which are also inspired by my elementary school, always had tons of paintings like leading up to the doors. So that's what those are. I like to imagine they're student made. And these fun little signs, they're just there for fun. I don't remember putting that mailbox there. You could delete it if you want, I guess. You need a mailbox, I assume. So you've got these fun little hedges all over, because this is kind of like definitely a rich, preppy type school. So they can afford to have hedges and like expensive, weird planter things. This is the gym, 100% inspired by Japanese high schools, because gyms don't look like this. As far like my high school gym didn't look like this, but I think it looks great. I love the roof. You've got all of these windows. It's technically 2 stories, so the lighting inside is a bit weird, but I'll get to that when we get there. This around back is the staff parking lot, which I put next to no effort into because I don't care if you need the staff parking lot. Sorry, man, you're gonna have to put those lines in and make it look good yourself, because as it is, it has 3 parking spots. And they're all way too big. But that is the staff parking lot. I put no effort into it because like it makes sense for a parking lot to be there, and I didn't have anything else that should go there. But there's clearly like no roads leading up to it. So everybody's off-road. All the staff off-road, I guess. It is what it is. But that's the outside of the school. I'll go over the courtyard when we go over the main floor because I think it would be next to impossible with this camera angle. So now you go to the front doors. Inside the entryway, this is also 100% inspired by Japanese high schools. No high school in Canada I've been in has like shoe racks, or that's what these are also supposed to be, shoe lockers, but there's no lockers anywhere else. So they could also just be the lockers for the school if that's what you need for your story. You'll also notice, I think throughout everywhere in the building, I put exit signs, so you're welcome for that little storytelling detail. As I also tried to put fire extinguishers as often as I could with this little sign, because you never see a fire extinguisher in a school without a sign that's like, alarm will sound or something or other. A lot of corkboards as well, just because that's something I see in anime a lot. No idea if it's in actual Japanese schools, but again, I was trying to make this look specifically like an anime, which I realize is probably not realistic to reality. So when I used pictures of real schools in Japan, I'll say Japanese or Eastern schools. When I was specifically trying to make it look like an anime, I'll say that, because I understand that the two probably are not the same. Just like, I've never seen Riverdale, but I imagine Riverdale's depictions of high schools are like super unrealistic. So it would be the same as someone being like, this is an American high school, but they based it purely off Riverdale. Anyway, the gym is just kind of a gym. To make it actually functional, like if for whatever reason you wanted to play Sims on this a lot, you do have treadmills and punching bags to build the athletic skill, which is what you do in a gym, because obviously my gym certainly didn't have weightlifting benches, treadmills, and punching bags in them. I'm personally really proud of the auditorium half, but in this case I made them both the same, so dual purpose. You could put a wall up and delete the chairs, or just delete the chairs, and this would still be a gym. Or you can delete everything else and make this just an auditorium. A little bit of lighting weirdness with the windows, but that's all right. Again, the lights are one too low, so if you were filming, you'd have to like probably shrink them. I would suggest using Tool for that, but it looks the lighting just looks really weird with them high up. So I've made that a you problem. It's not a me problem anymore. When you're on the first floor, you can't see them, and it doesn't matter. But this is what the auditorium looks like, ignoring the lights hanging in the way. This was kind of, to be honest, this was based off my church's auditorium, because that's the only like auditorium I could think of. I tried to color coordinate it, so in this we can imagine the school's colors are like red, orange, and yellow. You've got plaques, a fire extinguisher box back there. Just some fun like school pep rally decorations. So this is at the moment decorated as if they're having some kind of like school spirit speech or something. I don't know if there's a podium in any of the other packs, but there's none I don't have one. So this is from the pets. This is a vet clinic thing. But if you have a podium custom content, go for it. Or if there's one elsewhere you know of, feel free. That is another thing I should mention. Functionally wise, I tested some things. I think all chairs in the building should work, like sitting. But some objects aren't functional. Like this microphone, you probably can't do comedy skill or whatever off of it. But it's not put there for your sim to learn comedy, you know? It's put there to look good. So I'll point out spaces where I know things don't work when we come across them, but for the most part, if you do find something, if it seems obvious like it should work, feel free to send me a message and I'll try and fix it for the upload. But if it doesn't work, it's probably just because it's intended to just look good. It's essentially a decor item at that point. Anyway, that's the auditorium for school speeches and stuff. When you head the other way, the hallways are very empty. Because I have so few packs and I didn't want to use custom content, a lot of the hallways just have nothing on the walls, which is, like, I think it looks fine, but if you need something else, you'd have to decorate them. Quite literally, I didn't have anything to put there. In this first hallway, this is kind of intended, you've got the school colors again. I know it's a wanted poster, but it's intended to be like a school, like, showing off awards or something thing. On this side, you have the school trophy shelf, and this is stuff for, like, sports, just school awards in general, because that's what they want to show off to people who are coming in. More plaques, because I love plaques. Some garbages, those are themes. I use the same garbages throughout the building, because none of the other ones looked good and were big enough as well. There's also TVs everywhere, because that was something my high school had a lot of, was just TVs in the hallways. They'd show announcements, they'd show student artwork, they'd show student photography. So that is something this one has. If you are actually playing with Sims on the slot, it's probably going to be a pain in the ass, and I'm not sorry about it. In this corner, you've got this fun little display thing, just for fun, with an unreachable fire extinguisher under it. You're welcome. The next area is very much based off my high school. I have no idea what the cafeteria looks like in a Japanese high school, but I know my school had a very large open area with a bunch of tables and a little canteen. We didn't have a cafeteria, but it was a place you could go buy like a hot dog and like a bag of chips or something. So that's what this is based off of. You've got all of these tables, all of the chairs on which should work. They worked last time I checked, with some decor. Just like napkins and stuff because the tables felt really empty without it. Here, this is the canteen over here, which you can walk behind. This gate, even though it's not attached to anything, it does work. Just a fun fact, it does work. I don't know why that's so important, but it does. This side is inaccessible. It's got the fridge there with nothing behind it. And there's 2 cash registers for people to buy from. It's more than my school had. This school wants to get people in and out as fast as possible. On either side of the canteen, you have a stairwell, which I'll get to in more detail when we're going upstairs. The stairwells really aren't that exciting. Oh, you also have microwaves in the canteen, because that is something my high school had a ton of, was microwaves. I think I'll go into the courtyard next, because that's like probably the next fastest. Through all of these doors is a courtyard, which I don't know. To be honest, I don't know where I got the idea for a courtyard because my school didn't have one. And I don't think any anime I've seen or pictures of Japanese high schools I've seen have a courtyard. But I made it for my machinima, so it stayed. You'll recognize this area with the cherry blossom, the pink tree, from the machinima because it was the only part that I had actually built, and that stayed the same. This is kind of undecorated because I just don't have the clutter for it. Any clutter that I would use is custom content, and I kind of just left that for you to put in yourself. There's not really good Maxis match, like base game stuff for that. On this side we have books and a backpack, but that's about it. Each set has stairs going down. This is the kind of place I would definitely imagine, like if you have like, it's the end of the day, you have class in this room, you need to get home as soon as possible because you need to go play Call of Duty. You are absolutely going to cut through here and leave. I don't know why that's an important fact for you to know, but it is. You've got this fun little path. You've got so little grass, but there is some, I imagine students would probably eat there. Fountain. The eating areas are really all the same. On either side of the cherry blossom tree, you have these little walkways with benches that are kind of useless, but they're there. These sinks are supposed to be inspired by, I think, both anime and Japanese high schools. I think it's like a real thing, like the sinks, the outdoor sinks that are really long. So that was what I was trying to mimic. On this side of the school, you have a computer lab, a bathroom, and 3 classrooms. This is one place you'll really see the Japanese Eastern high school influence, because no classroom I've ever heard of in North America has these windows looking into the hallway at all. But at least I've seen a fair few pictures with classrooms in the East that do. I think it's really cool looking. That's why I put it in. It makes the hallways look way more interesting. It means you don't have to clutter them. The hallways are also massive, but shut your mouth, mind your business. This computer lab is very much based off of the computer labs I remember from high school. You've got these blinds, which I do just want to say I did place very specifically. They're like those ones that the teachers, you have to like pull the chain to pull across the entire window, and they never work because some kid like 3 years ago put a hole through one of the like things at the top, or he yanked something off, and now it just doesn't work. That's what the blinds are anyway. It's, I think, a pretty standard computer lab. I can't imagine they're too different. Computer labs are too different depending where you are, but in any case, this is based off my experience of high school. Every classroom, I've also put in this thing of hand sanitizer. I don't know why. Just because I thought everyone could have clean hands, I guess. COVID got to me. As well as this, which is intended to be like a mailbox for the teachers, which typically would be in a staff room, at least in Canada it would be. But I put them in the classrooms, as well as a garbage. Everybody needs a garbage. Just some big wall decor. This, in my mind, is like a laptop or a tablet cart, which is something we do have in North America. You have to sign them out at the library, and all of them suck. So when you go down, the next building is the bathroom. It's pretty standard. You get the men and the women signs, and in case those were too hard for you to understand, they're really big on the inside of the bathroom. I would have liked, there are gender neutral bathrooms in the school, but I think they're also technically the staff bathroom. So these are like men's doors. There are some great custom content bathroom stalls out there that would definitely fit in here really well, but I didn't want to use custom content, so you get half walls. In terms of classrooms, every classroom has the same layout. I've just copied and pasted them from building, like from thing to thing. Some of them do have different clutter. I've left one room empty, which I'll show you when we get to it, but just to kind of give them personality and to save you doing the work if you don't want to. So this I imagine would be like a history teacher's classroom. You've got like a map, you've got a typewriter, you've got a clock, you've got a bunch of like old things to show the kids. This is where the get to work stuff really comes in. All of these filing cabinets I use constantly because every school I know just has tons of filing cabinets in it, as well as the desk. An object that is not functional, these bookshelves don't actually work, but they were never really intended to work. They're intended to look good. Sorry about it. I do have really good Blackboard custom content that I could have put here, but again, no custom content. So I would suggest removing these personally, but it's up to you. They do still totally look fine. In terms of the tables, I needed it to look good, and there's no school desks. So if I was to film it here, I'd remove the desk, which is what I did in She. There's no tables, there's just school desks. But Maxis doesn't have that, so tables it is. And this is just random crap at the back of the classroom. This is from Get to Work. I don't know. It is what it is. The really thin bookshelf. I don't know if that works or not. I don't really care. This one, another one that this is kind of like history. This is definitely history teacher, but it could also be science. You've got like fossils, you've got a poster, you've got a lot of books all over. All of the teachers' classrooms have laptops and not computers because putting computers there just looked really weird. There's a voodoo doll on the desk just for fun. And then this one isn't really like assigned to a teacher in my mind, although probably English because every teacher I knew like this was an English teacher. But she's just, whoever this is, I'm assigning genders to them very stereotypically, but she loves plants. That's what's in this one. You got a Zen garden. I did try and put some clutter on the desks, like you got a Coke can here. But for the most part, again, that's the kind of stuff that like looks best custom content for sure. And I didn't want this to be custom content. Count how many, take a shot every time I say that. Okay, so we're finally onto the second floor. The stairs on this one are nondescript. The staircases suck on every single floor. I just needed them to be functional above all else, so don't at me about it. When you go to the second floor, this is where you have the gender neutral bathroom, which doubles as the staff washrooms, which was just a really weird space in between the staircases that I needed to do something with. That was it. It doesn't even look that great. Like, you could tell I built on a window, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's just a bathroom. There's nothing exciting about it, really. Look at that garbage thing from Debug. And the toilet's way back here in this scary little corner. At least you got time if you're like peeing and someone comes in. You get time to pull your pants up before they turn the corner. And it's the same on this side because the staircases on every floor are identical. So that's also a bathroom. This is just kind of seating because I thought it was super empty because there's nothing except what's at the end of these hallways. And because it's so close to the canteen, I figured, seating for more students to eat lunch. So that's all this is. You get some artwork. I would assume in my mind all the artwork is student created. You've got some more vending machines in the same idea. Like, it's clearly an area to hang out. There would be vending machines. And this down here is the change rooms, which you again have divided. So women on this side, men on this side. The windows at the end, you might think like, that's what the hell are you doing? But that's based off my high school. My high school had change rooms on the second floor and then a staircase going down that had windows looking into the gym in the staircase. This one doesn't have a staircase because the staircase would have made the gym super, 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 super tiny. So this is actually the most inconvenient change room in the entire universe when you think about it. So when you're filming, you're going to want to pretend it's not. But to change, so say you've gym first period, you got to come in the front door, you take your shoes off, you wipe them off. You have to come all the way down this hallway, go up a flight of stairs to get to the second floor, walk back down this hallway, change your clothes, walk back down this hallway, down the stairs, down again, and then into the gym. And do the same thing again once you've finished gym. So you're all sweaty and gross, and you have to do the walk of shame. Not my smartest moment, but it looks good, I think. Both change rooms are the same. I'll just go over them once. In the entryway, you have an archway with garbage cans, and then the actual door itself, which again is sorted by gender. You have 2 sinks, because that's all mine at my high school had. Ton of lockers. This is purely for students to keep their clothes in between gym classes. Some benches that look like crap, because what bench in a high school change room ever would be nice? I would have preferred wooden ones, but I don't have any. And then 3 shower stalls, which in my experience, nobody will use except one person who's too insecure to change in front of the rest of us, so she'll change in there. It's the same on the boys' side, except I added a whole bunch of, there's clothes all over, the walls are destroyed and gross and grimy, because, I don't think I've ever been in the boys' change room in high school, but I just assume that's what it looks like. Okay, the library. The library is something I am so proud of. Has absolutely no basis in what high schools in Japan look like. This is literally just me actually replicating my high school library. So the intended method of entrance technically is from this side. So both sides have this little sign just because I thought it was cute. So when you go in the door, we're gonna go into camera mode for this because it looks so good. When you go in the door, you've got this little setting, lots of plants. My high school didn't have that many plants, but I just said they belonged in a library. They really brightened it up. To your right, you have the circulation desk, or whatever you want to call it. So where the librarians and the library techs would sign in and sign out books. On the floor, you've got these lines because I was making this during COVID, and for some reason I was like, you know what we really need? I really need to turn these carpets into the little lines they put on the floor now to make people stay 6 feet apart. So that's what those are. You've got a TV for the same reasons you have TVs everywhere else. Nice little calendar. This would be where you put books to return. Normally it'd be a drop off. I don't know how I do that in Sims, and I really desperately wanted to have a fun arrow moment. So that's what that is. You've just got the desk, which is from Get to Work. You've got a garbage bin back here. You've got some cupboards, which presumably just hold, I think, probably teaching resources, pens, pencils, stuff like that. Ooh, look at that view. Wow. This high school would have children drowning at lunch. Anyway, you've got this desk in the back, which I don't think it's not functional, but there's nothing on it. It doesn't need to be functional because there's nothing on it. You've got this stool that I thought had wheels. Now that I'm looking closer, it does not have wheels, but whatever. It's pushed under the desk, so at some point someone was working here, but right now it's just kind of a mess. The actual bookcases are the same bookcases throughout. A magazine rack, because my high school did have magazines. That's the bookshelves. I'll go over this entrance next. You may say, boyfrog, that looks weird as hell. Why is there a gate? That is because my high school had those little magnet strips or something in the books, so that if you took a book and you hadn't checked it out, they would know. You would walk through a gate like this at the entrance, and an alarm would go off. It has this table with backpacks, because that was also something my library had. You weren't supposed to bring backpacks into the library. Absolutely nobody followed that rule, but somebody clearly did. There's 2 backpacks here, And then on the rest this is, again, based off my high school, this would be public computers. Anybody could use it anytime. Little cubicles to separate them. I have no idea if they work. Should I have tested this more? Yes, I probably should have. What are you going to do about it? They've each got these little lights that I spent way too long placing, but they've got them. And then you just have some fun couches to sit on, to hang out with, study with your friends, eat at lunch, and then some study tables as well. Somebody's left their laptop here. Called lost and found. On this side, you have, this is a science lab, because from what I have no idea what they do for science in Japanese high schools at all. I didn't do the most research. But in my school, we had separate science labs for science. They didn't look as cool as this did, but in my defense, if I can make it look this cool, I'm just going to make it look this cool. So when you enter, you have the teacher's desk at the front of the room, which is pretty much non-usable because I think this is actually a desk for a business. from Get to Work, but it is what it is. Just a crap load of posters, as many as I could fit. They're all technically science-based, you know, like they're talking about where dogs poop from, but they all are from pets. That's correct. You get a lot of debug items, like these geodes, these jars with stuff in them. You get an analysis table just for fun. I think probably so you can gain the skill in there if you were to play. It clips through the curtains, but you're going to mind your business about it. Over here, you've got a sink to wash your hands with. This huge geode. Massive. Some surgical tools, I guess, probably for dissecting frogs on a wheelie table. Because I love that table. Now that I'm thinking of it, I have no idea if the sink is usable. Oh well. You've got these cupboards because in the middle of building I discovered they had stuff in them and I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life and I need it. So it's baking ingredients, but we're going to pretend it's like science. It's science stuff. More debug stuff like slugs or aliens. This is kind of like, if I were to label them, this is the science floor. This has 2 science labs. Presumably there would be more science classes in that, but it could just happen in the classrooms and then alternate lab days. Not that it matters. This isn't a real school and it couldn't function like a real school, but I just like thinking of things like that. Oh, this is the empty classroom. So this is just like exclusively the furniture and decorations I thought necessary, which could just be it's a new teacher or it's a teacher who doesn't give a crap, a minimalist, or it's for you to decorate specifically to your needs if you don't want to have to take everything out of a classroom. You're welcome. This is more of a focused science lab, so less of a, you might spend a class in the other one. This one is exclusively for experiments. That's why there's a little warning sign out front. It's got a bunch of like skill building things in it. So it's got the microscope, the analyzing things, all of which are usable. By the way, your sim can build logic skill or whatever in here. Just this table, because I felt that there needed to be seating. Now that I'm thinking of it, this might mess things up and make it so your Sims can't sit there. I didn't test it because I forgot I put that there when I tested the lot. Tested in quotation marks, because we can all tell I didn't do a very good job, because I don't care. And you know, despite having said this is the science floor, I just realized that I definitely intended for this to be an English classroom, or like a psychology class maybe. You've got all the colorful posters on the walls. You've got this gnome, like literally just for fun. She's so fun, this teacher. She's got a purple bin. Wow. On all the walls, you've got this like Sims logo runner, kind of trying to be like a realistic decoration teachers would have, although it did kind of fail because it didn't fit back here. But moving on, we'll ignore that. You've just got more posters in the back along with some storage. So that's definitely intended to be an English teacher's classroom, but you can make it whatever you want. I can't really stop you. And I don't really care. Finally, moving on to the 3rd floor, which is technically the final floor. There's a 4th floor, but it's not finished. It's only got 2 rooms on it. This staircase is straight up instead of curved because I couldn't figure out how to make consistent staircases for the life of me. And this is what I went with. And because it was straight, it created a bunch of weird spaces. So in this stairwell, there is an entryway platform thing that's got windows here, just for fun. On this side, because on the bottom there's like classrooms, on this side, because it was much harder to get to because I needed to put the second set of stairs also going straight up like that, I made this into a storage room. That's why there's like this metal type like do not enter door with warning signs. You've got 2 of them because that's the area behind the stairs. Anything in this storage room, absolutely untested. This room really isn't, your Sim's not supposed to come up here and sit on this or use these machines. Or try and take pictures, God forbid, in the studio that I've piled crap on. Or punch this bag. This room is exclusively to, like, look like a storage room. That's what it's here for. And I think it does. You've got the gross vending machines. You've got some abandoned mannequins, clearly part of some art project at one point. An ATM that maybe the school had at one point, but it was being misused, so they put it away. Just random crap. Really, anything I could put in here to make it look like a storage room. On the opposite side, there isn't any extra space, so it's just like the windows. And this floor is where you'll find the staff room / offices. So when you're going in here, this area is based off of Japanese high schools / anime. I'll say more so anime in this case, because every staff room I've been in Canada, which I've been in some, I'm a student teacher, so I do actually have a reason to be in the staff room. Teachers don't have their own desks in them. I already put clutter on some of these because I kind of just assume that's not really the thing you'd want to be wasting time with, but if your story has a ton of teachers, feel free to take this out. I assume all these computers and desks work. I don't know why they wouldn't. I didn't test them. If you've noticed the theme, I didn't test them. Going into the other side of the staff room, however, it is definitely Western based. So this half of the staff room with the desk with this is where staff meetings would be held. Most staff rooms I've been have more couches, but this is all I could fit. You've got a couch, you got a chair, just some pictures. Sorry for my bad camera work. You've also got a vending machine here, and then the kitchen, which has 2 microwaves because that's some staff rooms have stoves, but every single one has microwaves. So this one doesn't have a stove, but it does have 2 microwaves, a coffee machine, a little mug thing, and a tea machine. I have no idea if that coffee machine works. I just assumed it would. You've just got some shelves. You've just got some shelves to fill some space in the building. And then finally you have the principal, headmaster, dean, whatever you want to call them, the person who runs the school, their head office, which is huge and very fancy. You got a fish tank. You got this fancy little bookshelf. You got this. They have a Roomba because they're spilling so much stuff on the floor all the time. They need a Roomba. Some chairs to sit on. You've got this bench just for fun, I suppose. A lot of this person loves animals, loves cats specifically. And you've got more of these filing cabinets from Get to Work because I love them and I just think they fit so well in the school because you do see filing cabinets everywhere, at least in older schools in Canada. When you get to the other side, this is like the arts floor. So there's only 2 classrooms on this floor, and that is the music room and the arts room. Music room, I kind of just pulled out of my ass. This isn't based off anything, but the art room is based off anime because they always have a ton of easels and it's just a big open room specifically where everyone goes for art. And in this first classroom, you have the art room, which I will go into free camera mode again to use. You've got these shrunken down murals outlining the walls, again for the same idea that it was in the English classroom. It's just kind of a decor style I've seen teachers use before. On this side of the room, this is where you'll find one of the packs that's just specifically the guitar. You could definitely go without it. I just wanted something more than the bunny guitar because it only has 2 swatches. Lots of posters, lots of decorations, lots of lights, because that is my experience with art and music teachers. They like that kind of stuff. They like bright. They like colorful. All the instruments, you'll notice you've got acoustic guitars, you've got electric guitars, you've got violins, you've got microphones over there. All have these little placemats, which are from pets, and I'm just obsessed with them. I don't know why. I think that it's so lovely that this teacher's like, so that I always know how many guitars there are and that they're in the right place, I've put down placemats for all of them. I don't know. I just love it. You've got her personal guitar back here that might make the chair unusable. I have no idea. You've got this area with like the stools, which to be honest with you is kind of like my experience from kinder music, which is like, it's like music when you're a baby. The teacher's got this flamingo here. I was just kind of going wild, having a good time. Some couches, 1 grand piano because I couldn't fit any more. There's a garbage bin in there. Let's move on to the art room. I'm trying to fit all the arts in here. So when you come into your left, you've got like this table showing off some sculpting objects from Debug. This stool is also crafted. Plus this table that I think I don't see any reason why you couldn't use it. But I didn't test it. Testing things, I don't do that. These easels, which may or may not be usable, painting a still life of this wine bottle and stuff. Generally just kind of like canvases and art all over. Some more easels, this time painting out the window. In this corner you have the art teacher's desk, which also has a pride flag with it, along with a bulletin board, a hand on a rolly table for references. My school also had a photography class, which I've bundled into it here. So this is where you pick up your cameras. And of course you have a sink to wash your paintbrushes and to wash your hands, and some jackets to wear to cover your shirt when you paint. Across from the art classroom, we have the gardening club, which this is based off anime. I won't say Japanese high schools because I don't know if this is a thing they actually have. But it's just like a little balcony, which again should probably have some chain link to keep students from jumping off of it, but it doesn't. It's got a bird bath, just a whole bunch of places for planting things that I have no idea if they work or not. This shelf with seeds that for some reason I painstakingly placed with move objects. Don't ask me why. A sink, another outdoor sink with just some stuff in it that might keep it from working, I'm not sure. And just generally, if it belongs in a garden, you'll probably see it here. And there's doubles because, again, this is the place for the gardening club. On the other side of this room, you don't have classrooms, but you do have a nurse's office on this side and a cooking type, like home ec classroom, but also a club room for anyone who's in the club. That being based off of both, I've seen animes have rooms like that, but also my high school did as well. The nurse's room, so when you come like up, you can tell which one's the nurse's room because it's got a little glowing sign, and this sign declaring like, you know, whatever's happening in the cooking baking club today. Nurse's office I kind of just made up as I went. You've got like some waiting areas, some areas for students who are just like feeling a little bit faint or whatever, maybe need for their blood sugar to go up, and then you've got these curtains surrounding the beds because that's something I've seen in anime, and in general I do just think it would be weird to have like a bed in the middle of the room. But these I also painstakingly placed with move objects. I couldn't, like, these are like some kind of bar thing that I put out, and then the curtains are glitched into them. I think it looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know if it works. Again, not something I tested. This is all stuff from Get to Work, so you do need Get to Work to have like the IV pole, which this room doesn't have, or this one only has the IV, but you wouldn't be putting an IV in a high school. Let's be real here. They're legally not allowed to do that. And then another gender neutral bathroom, which is specifically the nurses, which is why it's like it's got like a change of clothes. That's what I imagine this is. Towels, the amazing EA mirror glitch that totally doesn't make me lose the will to live. And just some stuff that I like imagine like a nurse's office would like have extra things of, like toothpaste, soap, a shower for like an accident occurs. And then in the cooking room, when you enter first, you've got just like these fun little guys, like the mascots of the cooking room. I'm a huge fan of the little figures from My Sims because My Sims was the first Sims game I ever played on the Wii, and I just am very fond of it. Actually, that's a lie. Sims 2 was the first game I ever played. My Sims was the first Sims game I ever owned for myself. So I love those figures. But you got the little pig. You got this pizza dude whose name I don't... Oh, you can see food in the fridge. Whose name I don't remember. You have more of these cupboards that have food in them because I think that's wild and I adore it. Yeah, that's pretty much the same throughout. You've just got a whole bunch of stations, stoves, and fridges. The nice expensive ones, I think. With sinks at either end. Everyone has the same tools, so it's like paper towel and cooking utensils at everyone. Plus a microwave, which I imagine they rarely use for cooking. It's just exclusively for like the kids in the cooking club come up here and heat up their lunches because they're cool. And then the only thing left to look at is when you go up one more floor on either side, you reach the roof, which is off limits for students. I don't know why I made the stairs so big and just asking to be gone up, but it is. This is totally based off anime/Japanese schools because my schools, every school I've been in Canada, high school and elementary, has not had a roof to access. The roofs just aren't built like that at all. And I didn't really need it for anything. So again, the roofs really aren't built to have anything on them. They're just roofs. But you could put stuff up here if you wanted, like benches. You would probably just also want to put chain link fences up so nobody, dies. That's just my recommendation. And then a door that's like super hella locked, only the janitor can get through. That leads to this area, which has a hose, a bunch of warning signs for people who do get through, so like warning roof stuff. And then you're on the roof, and it is the exact same thing on the opposite side. I literally think the furniture's in the same spot. I imagine it's probably so they could have access to the air conditioning, because this school does have air conditioning, but That's probably, but yeah, so that is the school. That is it in its entirety. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you for listening to my babbling. I'm sure it was so entertaining. Yeah, feel free to use this. I would love for you to like tag me if you do, because I just think it'd be so cool to see someone using it. It's the same with my animations, which I only have one pack out as of right now, as of this video, but I just think it'd be so cool to see people using it. Like, I would love it. So yeah, if you do use it, please tag me. But that's not a requirement. Again, the only thing you need to do is not claim it as your own. So don't imply you made it. Don't make people think you made it. And you're good to go. I appreciate credit, but I get that it's hard to remember. And sometimes a pain in the butt. I don't really have anything else to say. I would love to do more videos like this where I'm talking, but I tend to be really rambly, and I also just don't have much to make videos about because I want my channel to be more or less exclusively machinimas. I don't want people subscribing for like other content and then, not watching my machinimas. But like, I kind of want to make other videos like touring my sets and stuff. If you made it this long, I kind of assume you care about what I post. So if you have any suggestions or like just anything you'd like to see, or just want to see me like, hey, yeah, I like listening to you talk about nothing for an hour, because that's how long this recording is, then drop a comment, man. I appreciate you. Whoever, you should be paid. I'm not going to pay you, but you should be paid for having listened to all of this. That is all I have as of right now. I hope you find this useful and that like you like it. But yeah, like and subscribe. Watch my machinimas.